up, man?
Hi Peter, how are you doing?
Doing well. Doing pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, I am doing well. Decided to do a breakout room today
Mm-hmm.
and talk about some stuff some cultural stuff that's near and dear to my heart and my development coming through Catalyst and kind of growing up watching this the last 4 or 5 years. This experiment. Yeah.
Welcome to the experiment.
Yeah, exactly. These may break, lack documentation, differ greatly between iterations. Yeah. All right.
Nice.
Good to
Hi
see you, Lucas.
Lucas.
Hey guys, all good?
Oh,
Nice.
good, good.
Um, I was happy to hear Peter spoke organizing a breakout room, but I'm going to be doing the dishes, so I'm planning to just sit in. I
That's
hope
good.
that's fair
Yeah,
enough. Okay.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Happy to have you here, just to hear me scream into the void, if nothing else, Lucas.
Well, get it recorded, put it async online, and I wish you the best for that proposal. I opted not to put anything in for 14.
Yeah.
We're stacked with the ones we have. We have a design proposal actually to help builders improve the design and go to market with their apps. Maybe we can align somehow
We
I'm
might
not
be
sure what
able
your
to.
idea is.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
show off some cool tools that I used to create a presentation very quickly today, based off of some writing that I had that I gave to AI, and then the proposal that NewMindFlow and I wrote, and yeah, I I could
Cool.
have made it while sitting in the in the town hall. It's really this software service is pretty snappy.
New
I like it.
Mindful is a name that I hadn't heard for a while. It's like
NewMindFlow,
the
yeah.
NFT guys, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They
Anne
had
Marie and Rar
something
is
that, yeah, I
they're a
used to go
married
to those
couple. Yeah,
calls. Yeah, they called it what? NFT
Guild. Yeah, I worked with them in
Guild.
that too.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
exactly.
that's what we did. That's what we did. I kind of facilitated those calls, and they were the brains that had come into the ecosystem, learned everything about NFTs in Cardano, and then yeah, built some guides for it. And then
Cool, cool.
we were hosting that community space NFT guild to answer the questions of other people coming into the ecosystem interested in NFTs. I think we got the timing of that a bit. We were uh a bit
Tail end
late
of the,
a
yeah,
bit
of the
late to that
cycle.
party, honestly. Like
Yeah.
NFTs like came and went pretty quick, and they talked about
They're
standards.
they're going to be around.
Yeah, I mean they're around, but
Yeah.
obviously it's just not the
It was
what
overbought.
yeah, what made them attractive isn't the underlying functionality of what a non-fungible token represents
Yeah.
and the capacity it has in the world. So, yeah, we were trying to talk about that, and we were wading through a bunch of yeah, we were just mostly answering questions people who popped in and were trying to, make some silly project and
Hmm.
shill it out there. Um, it was good. We also facilitated a few calls uh, with builders around the SIP process, where they upgraded. I think it was SIP. Which SIPs were? There was a couple SIPs that
25,
came
68.
25, maybe it's 68. Wait, 68's the newer one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It was. Is that the Adam Dean one?
I'm
One that he
not
did.
sure.
I'm not sure whether I thought he was. It
I'll
was
be,
88. I think 68 got upgraded to 88.
there was a
But
proof of onboarding one as well with
yeah,
Hosky and Adam Dean. I know that, but I
yeah.
don't know the number.
Sounds good.
Anyway,
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm
So let's go.
actually, we also have something called Web3 Workshops by 45B. We're running a first cohort now, and we're going to the seventh session this evening, Portuguese time, and then we're going to run four more cohorts. Okay, so that's going to be multilingual. I'm going to keep you in the loop about that because it's all about what you were just talking about: onboarding people, first timers, people that
Yeah,
just heard the buzzword and want to know more.
sounds good. All right, I'm gonna
Okay,
run.
I'll be in touch.
Be in touch, Lucas. Thank you, and thanks for being here. Good to see you. Oh, sharing screen. So this is this presentation is going to talk about kind of the culture of building around Catalyst and how how that first slide, and that we all say together at the beginning really sets a tone for this community and this ecosystem that allows for people like the UNDP to come in and partner and kind of pick up on the same cultural ethos that has been cultivated inside of Cardano. Now, Cardano uses a funding mechanism called milestone-based funding, and that is unique amongst other blockchain uh, um, accelerator programs or funding mechanisms. We have other communities like uh, Polkadot um, who just if you can create a treasury withdrawal, so it's pretty much like a treasury withdrawal in from Cardano's treasury through like GovTool and that whole process. And but with Catalyst, we have this milestone-based approach where proposers create milestones where they say what they're going to deliver and how they're going to show that they did what they said they were going to do in their proposal that was voted on and therefore uh, ready for funding, milestone-based funding through the Catalyst program. Now, I myself and Anna Maria Enrares and several other folks um, were all in the Fund 9 pilot as milestone reviewers. So we do still to this day review milestones from all the funds up until Fund 14, which is still in process. But yeah, I think I've finished off most of the projects, or most of the projects have finished that were in the Fund 910 era. But at this point, but yeah, they can last for indefinite amounts of time, and yeah, we are shepherding those projects through their milestone-based funding, even if they take a long time to do it. So there's a lot that kind of is a good kickoff, and I'm going to dive into the presentation that's more down towards this culture and whatnot here. All right, let's go. All right, so when we want to build things and change the world and innovate, adversity is inevitable. Your builders face th- this un this kind of unimaginable levels of complexity to learn things about a decentralized ecosystem and how the blockchain works and how they can build tools that plug into the functionality provided by that blockchain. And without trust and guidance, projects can stall or can just fall off um, because um, because because of the complexity. So there's oftentimes uh, a a need to well, there's not oftentimes there's like a direct need to generate a culture that helps where there's like arm links between the people and they get support from the guy next to them, kind of or girl next to them. And a culture of fear and apathy shuts people down. So we have to tell people up front, like this is not going to be easy or it's not going to be easy and you're going to run into um, issues. Otherwise, they're more likely to freeze, fold, or fade instead of um, instead of seeing the problem they're about to tackle as something that is going to be really challenging. Um, so, uh, when we think about these funding mechanisms or money faucets like Project Catalyst or the Cardano Treasury or other accelerator programs, they're not just access to capital; they're actually culture. Because the people who get grants from these mechanisms are entering into a medium to long term relationship with these funding entities, and uh, they have expectations that directly affect their physical and emotional well-being. And so those regular checkpoints with that money faucet or the team that runs it are super important as they um, kind of acclimate to the environment that they're coming into. And it's and so and milestone reviewers are directly they're directly they have direct contact with these funded proposers because as they after they get their project voted in by the community and are eligible to start receiving funding, they have to design milestones. And these milestones are the, it's like you could think of it as just like a basic document that has what you're going to deliver in each milestone and how you plan to deliver it and what aspects inside of that delivery are will show that you've completed what you said you were going to do inside the proposal that was voted on and voted on by the rest of the community. And each milestone reviewer nurtures this growth, and it's on the front end as well as it's mostly, I would say it's mostly on the front end because you want it to be very simple for these for these proposers. Once they have put their plan down, you just want to check. You want to say, oh, did they do what they said they were going to do? Yes, no, yes or no. And then if no, then what needs to change? But if yes, then just like, woo, they did what they said they were going to do. They delivered exactly how they did it, and it needs to be very smooth, how they said they were going to, and it needs to be very smooth. However, it at the beginning when they're designing those milestones, it's important to like help them realize where there may be holes in their milestone approach because oftentimes, it just depends on this level of experience that a proposer has building or like planning their project. You can see, as I can see from my position as a milestone reviewer, there's just different levels of maturity amongst funded proposers and their ability to plan. So oftentimes, you don't want to give a funded proposer hell at to get their milestones, but helping point out things at the beginning is helpful for them in the long run because then they don't trip over themselves. In milestone 3, that they designed super non or too specifically or not specifically enough. Anyway, milestone based funding represents our cultural commitment. We believe in our potential and we want to walk with a funded proposer step by step through the way. And this protects the proposer from getting too far down the road and not getting the money they deserve, or getting too much money up front um, and therefore protecting the treasury from wasting money. So this incremental approach protects both parties. Um, this golden rule, is what we see in a lot of religions, in practically all religions around the world. This element of treating people as you'd want to be treated, and so respect and fairness to the person across the aisle from you as a milestone reviewer or a funded proposer is critical. Keeping that in mind when we work in these internet spaces, there's no we don't get to see that person. We don't get to have often don't get to have a relationship. And as a regulator, kind of a milestone reviewer is a form of regulator inside of this system. Now, to what degree they have that, who to what degree that the Catalyst team always has final say on whether a and own all of the risk legally on whether or not a project delivers. So a milestone reviewer is a signal for the Catalyst team to make a determination, and it's not even like they're not uh, anyway. So there is that, but they do provide milestone reviewers provide this function to uh, to the community and the funded proposer to protect the treasury and give the constructive feedback for that the Catalyst team makes assessments on an individual a milestone by milestone basis, and as well as at the closeout. But as we if we want to make this process better, you have to put yourself in the other people's shoes and think about the picture as a whole. But oftentimes, you know, there's people coming from all different directions of the world to this spot on the internet, and they're entering this complex space, and they don't necessarily even have a fucking clue of what the whole picture is, because it takes sometimes years to kind of be in a an internet community to know where the edges are and who actually or you know, and where the power centers are in that. And so bringing people up to speed to this to the realities of the situation helps them treat the other people in the system that they work with better. All right. And so this is like basic truth finding a community does together. There you need multiple perspectives to reveal truth. There's no single viewpoint that has the whole picture, and there's no single announcement channel that can reach all the different people. Dialogue and evidence and integrity equal trust. So you don't get integrity unless you show it kind of more over a period of time. It's like a more like reputation in that through lots of dialogue and then the breadcrumbs that you leave behind, you grow in integrity, and in turn, there is a culture of trust within the many different linkages between the humans in that collective. And milestone reviewers are miners of truth in that they help facilitate the milestone creation process with every single funded proposer over a certain dollar amount, and uh, then they put their names and their reputations, although they do it's anonymous, but not to the Catalyst team. So the Catalyst team knows who all the milestone reviewers are, but the community doesn't know who the milestone reviewers are. But that decentralization of 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 public opinion around each milestone um, does provide the Catalyst team with a better understanding of the reality of that project, and gives third party perspective. So um, as we mine for this truth um, together on how whether a project has done what they said they're going to do, uh, we provide opportunity to course correct for that funded proposer and for the Catalyst team as they are looking at hundreds of proposals, whereas a milestone reviewer is working with um, well, it depends on the milestone reviewer, but a handful to tens of projects, not hundreds of projects. All right. Next. So we want to live in a culture that is not zero sum. We want a rising tide to lift all the ships. And when we think about kind of the flywheel that builds that trust that we were talking about through all the different interactions, so the dialogue, the evidence, and the integrity that's built over time, we can see that reviewers provide this opportunity to improve. They see lots of different iterations of the same kind, let's say, and their whole goal is to protect the treasury and help the builders succeed. And in turn, that creates more trust in the entire mechanism, and over time, hopefully, creates more value for the treasury. That's where this decentralized accelerator program that Project Catalyst is is unique because it spits out um, far more money per like head FTE than I would say any other mechanism I've heard of, aside from maybe like a nation state, or I mean something like, yeah, something like that, like from a private ecosystem, so to speak. Um, then here we go. Next. So yes, the community creates culture. So through the shared standards and training that goes into onboarding somebody into a given role inside of Project Catalyst's many decentralized job positions, essentially. That's how you could. There's different roles that people can sign up for. There's standards around how they manage that work and how they're trained into that work matter a lot because it directly affects the funded proposers and the information and the sensory. And these folks are essentially the sensory network of the Project Catalyst team. Um, Open dialogues create uh, create communities, and that's really why this after town hall space exists. Is after the Project Catalyst town hall, um, early in Project Catalyst days, the community realized that they wanted to be able to have space connected to an event that brought people together to talk about the things that they cared about. So the After Town Hall is designed to be that exactly. There's no rules that say only certain people can sign up for an After Town Hall slot. Um, uh, there's no censorship on what you can talk about. It's just if you sign up for one and you fill out that form and give us your name and what you want to talk about, we'll put you up. Now we haven't run into any maleficence there, um, so there it could be a future where you know we don't want to turn this into a trolling environment, but we do want to create this space where anybody can come and talk about their ideas and or their proposals. So these continuous feedback loops, which there's many in and around Project Catalyst, you got workshops, you got these town halls, you got the after town hall, which is like a further fractal of of the town hall, and then you can think about that branching out even further into other town halls that meet around Project Catalyst around the world, and then all of the community events. So this this culture that the community generates by meeting and learning from each other and talking is what makes us better and stronger in well it's what grows the community. And if the culture isn't truthful and doesn't have standards that create strong expectation management um, for the people interested in joining their community, they will churn that community, and we see that in and around Project Catalyst itself. But I don't remember. I think what Fund 12, Fund 13, there was over a year gap between 13 and 14, or uh, and then another year gap. There's just been large gaps. There's been 2 year long gaps since I have joined the Project Catalyst community in Fund 5, and you can tell when those gaps happen, uh, you lose huge chunks of the community because that expectation management, well, chunks of the community, chunks of builders, whole new. There's the people that I see in the town hall today are, you know, there's only a few of you that I recognize from before. Like Lucas has been around for a long time, been around for a long time. Don Bosco I've seen in and out for a while, and he's been really steady the last year or so. Works with Lido Nation, but there's just new people coming all the time, and why? Well, and I guess what I propose is that we haven't, as a community, done a good job at being honest about all the challenges and problems, and that 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 are that we suffer from as a community. Um, and it's mostly expectation management and having a share and being able to have a shared truth about how the mechanisms that we're contributing our life force to through our interest and attention operate, and whether the marketing is spot on or whether it's a little over the top. These types of things have hurt this community in the past. Um, so shared truth, training, standards, all these point towards the creation of a better culture. That's my point. Now, yeah, to review a little bit, unblocking builders equals essentially unlocking potential. A culture of truth, fairness, and resilience. When we do this, when we foster this, we build systems that where honest assessment meets compassionate support, creating unshakable foundations. Like when you see a passionate person coming into the community that has plenty of agency because they're already out this far and they're smart and they want to build things for themselves. Um, this Meeting them where they're at with truth, fairness helps them foster their resilience to tackle this really hard problem that they're they are hoping to impact the world with through their ingenuity and innovation. Now, builders second point, builders rising above adversity together. Now, when individual challenges become collective opportunities for growth, learning, and mutual strengthening. And that's kind of what I'm trying to talk about through this milestone review process. We have uh, an opportunity as milestone reviewers to see how lots of different proposers move through this ecosystem and see their journey and the struggles that they face. Um, Point three, Catalyst as a beacon for decentralized innovation. Our community becomes the lighthouse that guides other ecosystems towards sustainable community driven progress. And you see this. We had the UNDP in the town hall today, or like folks from there. Like this is there is cross pollination happening between governance, between not governance, but what I guess grant funding mechanisms of nation states with blockchains now, and that's really cool. Like I didn't expect to hear from those folks today. That's really cool. Last slide. So yeah, join us in protecting and growing Catalyst. Support the Advanced Milestone Reviewer Course, where we're investing our time into building training that raises the bar for quality reviews and creates a lasting community knowledge. And we are committed to the golden rule for every builders, where we treat everyone with respect, fairness, and support. And the this like you'd want if you switch roles with that person. This golden rule is big in terms of the culture and ethos that I want to propagate around Project Catalyst. And together we will easily protect millions of ADA by having this course that me and my team are proposing to build here. The call is clear. Help us strengthen the lifeblood of Catalyst. Together, we rise. All right. So the project is called the Advanced Milestone Reviewer Course and is led by some program veterans, and that's me and my team. So with that, I will open it up to questions and some discussion, and see what we get, what what people are interested in. My long my little monologue there. After that, how's it going, everyone? Don Bosco, sir.
Hi, Peter. Thanks for the updates and also the thing on the course and the overview on the process of being a milestone reviewer. My question for start is the prerequisites for you to be eligible to attend or go through the course. Are there any things that may limit just everyday people to try and join? Is it a zero knowledge, or you have to have participated in Project Catalyst, have to have done some reviews, And based on that, you already said that Project Catalyst does know the reviewers, but the people with the proposals do not know who's reviewing them. What
Unless,
is
yeah, unless the milestone reviewer reveals themselves, they wouldn't. Yeah.
okay? Yes.
Okay.
So, how sure are we are assigned to the best person possible? I mean, your course does try to retain that. I I don't think there's a baseline that is so set, or if it is, I'm not so sure about it. For you being a qualified reviewer and ensuring that it's in the best interest of the proposers. For the people to be attached to their projects, and they should also trust the system. I mean, we don't know who's behind the reviewing, but we do know sometimes you get your milestones not approved. They tell you, hey, you're missing A, B, C, D, or maybe you need a proof to put up a proof of achievement, and then you do have the thing, but sometimes resources are scarce. So let's say, for example, if you're, I think I've met one or two sessions where we are to have a research on based on user experience, and then you just don't have the numbers that you need. We try to do this by doing several sessions and trying to combine them all together, but how do the ecosystem or the proposers can approach a situation where the reviewers have declined their proposal milestone for them to be able to give them guidance correct enough to tell, hey, you can try ABCD. I mean, we only have X, maybe YouTube or Project Catalyst for this. What are the other possible alternative solutions that you can ensure the same milestones actually meet the bar?
Right. So there's a couple questions in there. One was related to the course that and that is we're proposing to create this course, all right? And then once that course is created, it will be available on a web page, videos, everything that. So essentially, let me talk about the proposal real quick. The proposal is essentially for me to go out and talk to other milestone reviewers, all right? Interview them about the process, where pain points are, where improvements could be made, and I do that through a swath of milestone reviewers. Now, then all of that information is ingested by my team, and then we go and create courseware for the learnings that have come through that. Now we also have all the guidance from the Project Catalyst guides as to how that role is designed and how it's set to operate. So there is that. We're just saying we think that those guides, as milestone reviewers for the last 4, 5, 6 funds, um, those guides are pretty sparse in terms of they're very black and white on how stuff how to handle funded proposers through the milestone review process and and proof of achievement approval or rejection. Now that is not a that there's not a lot of examples. I mean, there is examples if you just go back and look at the history, but the history of a funded project that's already been completed, and you could go through and learn a lot from that. And I think that would be very valuable. And if my course doesn't get funded, that's exactly how I point funded proposers who are interested in creating good milestones that make it easy for them to get them signed off and are very clear um, for all the parties that they're showing those creating those milestones for. I do point them towards the history. It's like, well, there's hundreds of closed out projects. Here's a few that I think are really good. Follow their format in their milestone and do that. Now, in their milestones and adapt them to your project. Um, see Lucas, see you. Yeah, and and then once those are so outside of having a more formalized like course like we're trying to create that has interviews with milestone reviewers and available to watch and how that where they go through their process and talk about what they look out for and uh, how they collect signal to then make these judgments on a given proof of achievement or set of milestones. Um, that aside from having that content available to people, the only thing to do is to just, go back into the complex system and scrounge for good data. And that's an assessment you have to make. That's not somebody helping you through. That's not a culture. That's not as supportive of a culture as we could have. And so that is that's kind of what we're trying to that is what we are trying to create with this course and make it available to the community, and it's the equivalent of was that, like little under 60,000 ADA. We're estimating um, costing about 40 grand over 6 months to do all of the interviews, um, and then create the course material and then build it into a platform that makes it accessible to everybody. And yeah, these are veterans of this ecosystem, um, putting aside daily other responsibilities to put this together. And then, okay, so that's kind of your first question on how would somebody um, come together, how would somebody um, find this information? And the answer to that question is it doesn't exist yet. But if in this reality, I say go look through the history of funded proposals, and if you'd like some highlights of some ones that I think are good and are appropriate to be mimicked, you can reach out and I send you an example or two of that. Then let's see. And then your second question was what was your second? Your second question was um, it was more related to what a proposer should do if their proof of achievement doesn't get approved and how they should proceed. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you're usually given like two, three options to submit. Let's say if it's like a video based on user research, or a space, you hold a space, but the options are kind of limited. Are there any alternatives to these aside from Project Catalyst, X or also trying just to host something? Are there other ways where if your project is something that is heavily user based, the reviewers can actually direct you to the correct resources for you to be able to achieve your milestone? Because a proposal can be really great, but that just maybe you're at milestone three, and then you get that hiccup and then you are unable to change, you're unable to proceed. So it's either you turn and do another proposal to be able to achieve or focus it on a different way. But I'm asking this from the perspective of the reviewer guiding the proposer to actually set up the things, because you've already said that you should be able to go through the milestones and ensure that the proposer is able to actually achieve all the milestones as time goes by, right?
Yeah.
So, is there a way like you can offer more resources to the proposer to be able to achieve the specific thing in the perspective, especially when things are out of control from the
Yeah, that's a tough question because I think that it's not necessarily it's not the milestone reviewer's job to play that role, and it's not even the funding mechanism's job to come up with the solutions. It's just to audit the actions that have been proposed and voted on by the community and then expressed in the terms of milestones, which it is on the proposer to generate their own milestones that fit with the delivery and impact they're trying to achieve within their project or within the ecosystem. And therefore, um, if a proposer who has who is on the second or third of 4 to 6 milestones um, is struggling like that, I think as a funded proposer, it is uh, as a as a as a fun as a milestone reviewer, it is their job to uh, suggest and maybe work with the Catalyst team to have that proposer reassess their milestones. And there are cutoff points as to how long, how many, if you're like at a certain point, the Catalyst team's not going to let you change your proposal or your milestones because it's been too long or they're straightforward in exactly what needs to happen to deliver the propose your proposition that's been voted on for the community. So changing it would just augment that, and therefore, really, what needs to happen if you can't deliver is you don't get more money. Um, and so, in a lot of sense, I think it's on the funded proposer to overcome these hurdles, and it would be some level of collusion or um, uh, corruption for the milestone reviewer to go in and do that because it's very much a the interaction that a milestone reviewer is auditing is the action between the funded proposer and the Catalyst team where the funded proposer puts forward milestones that then are reviewed by these anonymous individuals, anonymous to the funded proposer, unless revealed by the individual, um, but essentially hired by the Catalyst team to create third-party opinion that is publicly available to the rest of the community. Um, and so in that, that funded proposer, they get paid X amount for approving the milestones. If they go through 5 iterations with the proposer, they get paid the same as if they do one. Um, or they just say, "Oh, you said this, sure, we're gonna hold you to it," and it depending on the quality of that funded proposer's milestones will depend on how tough is their life is down the road because they're distorting the future and encapsulating that distortion in a set of milestones and what they're going to do to bring into reality whatever they propose to the community. Now, if people are looking for tips on how to do more outreach and what or get user feedback for their stuff, it really comes down to and this is like my opinion outside of being a milestone reviewer and funded proposer in the past. It is I mean the Cardano voter community is hard to get in front of. And that's true. But if you're just looking for people to try out your pro product that you're creating for whatever you're building inside Project Catalyst, you gotta remember that there are lots of different platforms that have siloed communities on the different on on Facebook, on X, on Discord. They're just fragmented out everywhere, um, and it's going to be difficult to find those little bubbles where people are active, but it is possible to do so. But honestly, like, I've chased people for stuff like this and it's not fun, and it's practically a full-time job that is not it's not fun to do. But if that's what you propose to do for whatever dollar amount you ask for, that's what's on you to go get, um or on that team. Good. Um, any other questions or thoughts or comments? related to Project Catalyst, past, present, future. I've been in and around this ecosystem for 4 years going on. Yeah, probably 4+ years now. Um, and yep, like I said, experience it in multiple roles in working for the for the, working as a decentralized worker inside Project Catalyst. Um, yeah, neat.
I'd also like to know why you decided to just jump into advanced instead of beginner. There's nothing for beginners. So, what drive the use case for you to start with advanced? Perhaps maybe it was because the already existing resources are already available. You already have reviewers. But why not for that person who's just joining Project Catalyst and doesn't know about the process and stuff?
Well, that's I mean that's a hmm. So I guess it would be about demand. The reason why we're proposing an advanced milestone reviewer course is because the life cycle for a funded proposer is more valuable to the ecosystem than than uh, than the any random person coming in off the internet. That's not to say that those people aren't valuable. It's just to say that nobody wants to spend money on them. uh, and so those who, um, I mean, I've spent many hours of volunteerism doing just that. All right. So it's not that I wouldn't start there. It's just that we have started there. We have tried to get funded to do that type of work. And unless you are traveling around the world and doing in-person meetups or have a hub with a good dev team or whatnot, it's going to be pretty hard to justify that spend. Um, and so that would be my answer to that. I'm even skeptical that this type of um, asset to the Project Catalyst mechanism and an Advanced Milestone Reviewer course is would be valuable to the vote. I think it is valuable to the Catalyst or Cardano voter in that it creates more resources and pulls out and mines out a bunch of experience from uh, milestone reviewers and puts it in the hands of new milestone reviewers or anybody who's interested in Project Catalyst and learning more. And there isn't necessarily something like this. Products like there are these products are few and far between, and the team that I'm working with, like I said at the beginning when talking to Lucas, we have made guides for the NFT ecosystem here in Cardano that are still used, and I would say that are the best guides in the ecosystem by a long shot. That's not like built into like a what's call it in maker like UI, you know. So yeah, that's that. Any other questions?
I don't know if there's any other questions, but I would like to go for another one.
So, sounds good. Yeah, let's go.
So let's say you get the proposal to do the advanced course for milestone reviewers. I do attend as part of being a reviewer on Project Catalyst and stuff. Is there anything that will qualify or guarantee me to be verified that I've gone through the course and I'm actually eligible enough to handle a certain level of proposals based on my docket and based on my previous experiences? And will also members from the Project Catalyst team deem these as a lucrative opportunity to give these people more proposals to review?
That's a great question. And I mean, there's two things in there. There's, will there be some type of credential created at the
Mm-hmm.
end of this? And the answer is the expertise inside of my team to create that. is there for sure. That is not part of what we have proposed in this, but that seems like a fairly simple thing to incorporate into this and would um, is a possibility, but I can't guarantee that straight out off without talking with the rest of my team. But my guess is, because we have talked about that, that would be something that we could tack on to this course. And then the second question is, does this make you more qualified for milestone reviewing, and will the Catalyst team recognize that? And that would be to be determined. The I think that this course for sure, based off of how I want to teach people about this role, would definitely qualify you more, and we would have more quality milestone not we would have more informed and agile milestone reviewers because of the course. And I think the Catalyst team, because they want what's best for them and makes their job easier, that would in turn mean they would let favor people who had taken a course like this. That said, I did mention this to some members of the Catalyst team, and they were like, "Why?" Practically like, "Why are you doing that? You know, that's our job." You know, I was like, "Okay, well then, fucking do it." So, then yeah, that's the answer to that question, I think. And for the price tag on my team putting this together, literally like for the volume of money that my team has approved through Catalyst, it's like one project over half a million ADA successfully completed is like, as far as like just managing the risk on that, if you the value of risk on that, this course is easily paid for, um or accounted for in just one large size proposal. So it is, even though it is tens of thousands of dollars, and we are charging um, market rates for people with our level of experience, um, around these unique ecosystems, which is more it is more expensive, but it's not a full-time job. I mean, Anne Marie and NewMindFlow, they they're from Europe, but they live in Southeast Asia over half the year to keep their expenses down, and and they don't they don't have like a fiat mining job, um, but they're very intelligent, creative, innovative people that keep their expenses down so they can, think cool thoughts and live live a cool life. Um, and so yeah, gotta gotta pay for the other 6 months out of the year too. It's kind of like consulting work, I would say, is akin to that, except for it's directed towards a niche ecosystem that has is a consulting work and product that has well, I just think it's like it's just a drop in the bucket in terms of cost compared to the benefit that it could create, in terms of quality of life for funded proposers and the Catalyst team itself. Just to have faces that have that sometimes for some are recognizable, talk about their personal experience inside of these roles, because since most of the roles around Project Catalyst are more anonymous, you don't get to see many or hear much experience about what happens in those roles. It's like very much black box around the Project Catalyst team and how things are handled, and not that it's ugly in there or anything. It's just that there are things to learn from those people and their interactions. Yeah.
Nice.
Mhm. All right.
I don't know if there's question from
More
Robert or Joseph.
question, comment, Robert, Joseph? Thank you, Don Bosco. Really appreciate your engagement with me in this. If not, then I think I'll wrap it up to keep this recording as concise as possible. And wish you, gentlemen, good day.
Have a good one too. This was really exciting, I think. It also opens me the possibilities of having a more advanced knowledge base based on people's experience so that you can also incorporate on yours. So just as a community reviewer, you are able to actually discern the best practices being done by other people and implementing on your own.
Yeah. I think the personal experience, highlighting the personal experience is the most powerful learning mechanism,
Yeah,
especially when the environment is so complex and it changes, right? So
yeah,
it's like you can extrapolate from how people talk about how they solve problems, like how problems should be solved in this environment, not necessarily the individual things that those people are solving.
yeah.
Awesome. Thank you,
Nice.
Joseph. Robert, you came off mute for like half a second there, dude.
Oh, I understand. Thanks. That's informative. Hey,
Awesome.
what's the the 300 proposals or the what's that process they went through to eliminate some of the proposals?
So
What
there's
was
a
that?
so there's a reviewer process. So there's a review process where there's proposal reviewers, and I'm pretty sure that's what they're still called. This name has changed multiple times. Um, but those proposal reviewers are pre-funding review or not pre-funding, pre-voting review of proposals. There's a rating system, and there's big debate as to how valuable that portion of the process is because it's actually completely bottable. Although they do, it's just interesting, especially with the rise of AI, how it was questionable how useful that was before LLMs took off. Now it's interesting. Anyway, but yeah, that's proposal reviewers, and what they do is there's two tiers of proposal reviewer. There's there's like a veteran proposal reviewer and then a proposal reviewer. And so what happens is they get a bunch of ratings from the proposal reviewers across three categories on all of the proposals, and then those ratings are evaluated by the veteran proposals who also make the decision to cut out certain proposals, I guess,
Did-
with the Catalyst team. Yeah,
if your proposal didn't get cut out, that means your proposal may be worth a little bit something.
maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, or at least worth voting on.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean, and the rating is the ratings are. I'm just saying they're heavily skewed one way or the other. You know, you
mhm.
can see how a reviewer is like any one reviewer is either very positive or very negative on everything. You know, it's not like it's because it's normally it kind of just feels like a I don't know how to describe it. It just doesn't seem like it doesn't seem that informed of a review process. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, but then the milestone reviewers, which is the role I'm talking about, are post voting and are part of this milestone based funding process and ethos inside Project Catalyst, where you have written a proposal and you synthesize that proposal into a set of milestones and then determine how much money you get on completion of each milestone. And you can't get more than like 20% on the first one, but then there could be some variation thereon afterwards. And then you submit proof of achievements for each one of those milestones, and if those proof of achievements are approved,
Mhm.
you get that by the reviewers, but ultimately by the Catalyst team. Then you get that next tranche of funding. And usually there's I think there has to be like three. I think pretty sure there's three. There has to be three milestones, maybe four, and up to six. Yeah.
Oh, well.
hmm And then yeah, and that's pretty much the filter just on the money heading out the door. And then the filter coming in the door is yeah, is the proposal reviewers and the Catalyst team pre-funding. Yeah.
Hmm. Well, pretty cool.
Yeah,
Thanks for having the.
of course. Alrighty. Well, with that, I am going to end the recording, and I actually have a fiat mining meeting in 3 minutes, so I'm gonna go hop to that. Back to work, folks. This is the hobby.
Uh,
Okay, have a good one. See you next week.
Yeah. See you around,
yeah.
guys.
All
Godspeed.
right.
Okay,
Oh
Yeah, you
yeah.
too.
Here's
bye-bye.
the link to my proposal. Peace.
Oh, nice.